Thank you very much. Number 4, Aiden, can you help us? I mean, number 4. Number 2, help us do number 2.
Zero product property says each factor equals 0.
Okay, let's remind ourselves really quickly of what the zero product property is. If you have two products, like A times B, okay, so A times B, those are two factors, and it equals to 0. That means either
A or B has to be 0.
Either A has to be 0 or B has to be 0 or both. Okay, so that's what it means. Now, if A times B equals 5, is A 5 or B 5? Is that necessarily true? Okay, so let me make this up. A times B equals 5. Can I go A equals 5 or B equals 5? Is this true? Is that always true? No, that's not always true. So this is only going to work if it equals to what? 0. So when A times B is not equaling to 0, it's not always true that A is 5 or B is 5. Okay, A could be a fifth, right? And B could be 10. Would you guys agree with that? So that's why we can't do that with if it's not 0. Kelsey, can you help us read 3, please?
Each equation and equations are quadratic. The quadratic formula is
Beautiful. All right, here we go. Solve. We have 5 questions. Solve the following polynomial under complex number. So that means, will you have an answer always?
Yeah.
Yep. Some of them may be imaginary. So here we go. 1, 2x to the third minus 9x squared minus 18x equals to 0. Step 1, what would you do? Factor. What would you check for? Yep. What are there any? What is it?
2.
Yep. Take it out. So 2x. That means you're left with x squared. Well, actually, no, not 2x, because 9 can't be divided by 2. It's just an what? It's just an x. So you're going to have 2x squared minus what? 9x minus 18. Okay. Then here, I would like for you to take a minute and see if you can factor that trinomial for us. Then I would just shuffle your card and call on one of us. Once you have the factor for the trinomial, please compare it with one another. If it's factorable, go and factor. If it's not, then that's okay. Is it possible to find two numbers equaling out to negative 36, and when you add them, equals negative 9? Is that possible or not? So however you factor your trinomials, I want you to try. Is it possible to factor that trinomial? Good. So go ahead and factor. Again, I'm here tutorial guys to help you. So if you still need help on factoring, come and see me. What are the two numbers when you multiply give you negative 36 and add give you negative 9? 3x? 3 and 12. Yeah. So it would be negative 12 as a matter of fact. Okay, Julian, can you give me the two factors for that trinomial?
like the final one?
Final answer.
2x plus 3.
2x plus 3.
X minus 6.
Okay, someone confirm those for me before we take, okay. We are now going to take each factor and we are going to solve. First factor is x, we take it set equal to 0. Second factor is 2x plus 3, take it and set equal to 0. Third factor is x minus 6, take it and set equal to 0. So every single factor. The first one is already done. Would you guys agree with that statement? There's not much else to do. The second, we are now going to subtract 3 from both sides. Then we are going to have 2x equals negative 3 Divide both sides by 2. So final answer, x is going to be negative 3 over 2. Answer number 2. How many answers do you think we're going to have? Total, how many? Is it just 2? 3. X equals to 6 is our third. So we have 3 of them. Okay? We have 3 of them. All 3. So if you want to put it together and box it up, let's write it from smallest to biggest. X equals to negative 3 over 2, comma, 0, comma, 6. And box that up. So you have 3 answers total. Right, number 2, here we go. How do we solve? What's the first step? Yeah? Is it cube it? Or do we factor? Do we factor first? We have to factor first. Is that the sum or difference of 2 cubes? Yeah. So we want to rewrite it in a way to help you factor. What number raised to the third equals 125, class? 5. Okay. So a is x. So this number right here represents your a. This number right here represents your b. To factor a cubed plus b cubed, can you give me the formula? Ella, can you give me the formula for a cubed plus b cubed?
It's a plus b, a squared
Times.
times a squared minus ab plus b squared.
Beautiful. Good job. Okay, so let's factor that out before we solve. So our factors are something times a trinomial, and we will have to set it equal to 0 because the original equation was setting equal to 0. So Kelsey, what are the a and b values for this particular question? Good. So right away, we can have x plus 5. Then it says a square. So Aiden, what would a square be, Aiden? Good job. Minus a times b. Sarah C, what would a times b be? Good. And Logan, what would be b square gives us? Good. Okay, I just want to remind you guys, this right here, class, this trinomial is not factorable any further. Is that clear? That's why in your formula, it stays as is. So now, we will take each factor and set equal to 0. The first one's easy to find an answer. The second one, is it factorable? Yes or no? No, so that's why we leave it and we have to use a quadratic formula. So first one, subtract 5 from both sides. X is immediately a real answer of a negative 5. The second, we would need to use the quadratic formula. What does the quadratic formula say? X equals what? Negative b. Your b value is negative 5, so would you agree that it's just 5? Plus or minus square root of what? B squared. B is negative 5, so I'm going to write in quantity, negative quantity square. Minus 4 times a. What's your a? A is not x, but 1. A is in front of x squared, so that has to be 1. Times c. What's your c? 25. All over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay. Now we have to slowly work this out. Whoa. I'm moving my work up here. 5 plus or minus, okay, quantity, negative 5 squared would give us what? 25. Minus, what's 4 times 1 times 25? Good. All over 2. 25 take away 100. What's that? 75. Negative or positive? Negative. Oh my. There's a negative under a radical. What kind of answer would you get? Imaginary. So from here, you will try to see if we can take out a negative 1. Is there a nice square number in 75? Is there a nice? 25 and 3. Why are we trying to break down square numbers? So we can take it out, okay? What's square root of negative 1? Ooh, careful. What's square root of negative 1? I. Okay. What's square root of 25? 5. And square root of 3, there isn't anything we can do, so we leave it. We just now have to write that a little bit prettier. So we normally don't write I5, we write 5I, so final answer is 5 plus or minus 5I times radical 3 all over 2. And that box that up. Okay. Some of you guys write this division line just under the radical. Don't do that. It has to be all over. Okay. So class, how many complex answers do we have? Total. How many? 3. Okay. Why 3? How many? It's already from here. 2, because there's a plus and minus. That constitutes 2 answers. And there's 1 real answer. So we have 1 real, 2 imaginary, meaning total 3 complex. Okay. All right. Example 3. X to the third equals to 1. Remember, the zero product property will only work if it equals to 0. So what should we do first? Subtract 1 from both sides. So we have 8x cubed minus 1 equals 0. Is this different to 2 squared or different to 2 cubes? 2 cubes, okay? So rewrite it in a way that will help us factor. What would I need so that way when we raise it to the third power, what equals 8x to the third? 2 to what? Good. What would we need so when we raise it to the third equals 1? Still 1. So your A is this, and your B is this. Okay? So this is A cubed minus B cubed. Can you please, Iris, give us the formula for A cubed minus B cubed? Good. Good job. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So now we will factor. What are the A and B values, Andrew, for this question? Perfect. We just have to plug it in. So 2x minus 1 times, what would A square, Juliet, give us? Good job. 4x squared. Guys, because we have to square the entire A value. Plus A times B. Tyler, what would A times B give us? Good job. 2x. Plus B squared, Julian, what would that give us? Good. It has to equal to what? 0. Because the original question was equaling to 1, but we move it so we can have it equal to 0. Take each factor and set it equal to 0. Guys, this trinomial right here, is that factorable? Is that ever factorable in the sum of different 2 cubes? No. So we don't have to try to see if that's factorable or not. We know for sure it is not factorable, so we would need to use the quadratic formula. All right, on the left side first. Amy, on the left, can you help us solve the left side? What would you do first?
2x
Good, add 1. And then what do you do after you add 1, hun? Good. So first answer is the real answers. X equals to a half. That is one of our real answers. Then the other one, quadratic formula. Here we go. X equals negative B. Sarah H. What's our B value?
2.
Good. So negative 2 plus or minus B squared. So that's 2 squared minus 4 times A. Jake, what's our A value? A, nope. This is a trinomial that you want to look at. What's A from that trinomial? 4 only. Okay. Negative 4 times A times C. Heather, what's our C value here? Good. All over 2 times a, Carly, what's our a value here? Two is a b value. A is always with x squared. No. Remember, in a trinomial, it goes ax squared plus bx plus c, right? This is the trinomial that we're looking at. So what would be a value be? Because we have to divide by 2 times a. So what would a be? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So a would be what? Good, 4. So 2 times 4. Okay. All right, take it slow and then work this out. X equals -2 plus or minus 2 squared, Kenneth, would be what?
4.
Good. -4. -4 times 4 times 1, Owen, will give us what?
-16.
Beautiful. All over. Ellie, 2 times 4 would give us?
8.
Perfect. X equals -2 plus or minus. Liam, 4 take away 16, hun? Positive and negative? Perfect. All over 8. All right. Move it up here because I'm out of space. So we have x equals -2 plus or minus. We have a -12. Break it up. It's -1 times 12. But in that 12, is there a perfect square number? What? 4. You're right. So this is a -1 times 4 times 3. All over 8. Okay. What is the square root of -1? I. So take out your I. What is the square root of 4? 2. Can I do anything with square root of 3? No. So leave it. All over 8. We just have to make it pretty. Here we go. X equals -2 plus or minus 2i times radical 3 all over, I'm sorry, that was an 8 in the bottom. All over 8. Do you think we can box this up? No. How come not? Why can't we box this up? We have to factor out the numerator. Carly, what can we take out on the numerator, hun? What does the numerator have in common? 2, you're right. Take out a 2. So you have a -1 plus or minus. How many I? Yeah, so it's just I, radical 3. The 8 on the bottom can be factored as a 2 times what? 4. Can I reduce these two dudes right here? Yep, here we go. Final, complex. 2 solutions are -1 plus or minus I radical 3 all over 4. So how many answers, Madison, do we have total for this question 3? 3. Okay, there are 3 answers all together. 1 is a real answer, and 2 of them are imaginary. I'm sorry, John, you have your hands up.
Yeah. Why did you pull out the 4 to the 12?
Because 4 times 3 equals 12. Is that okay? All right, Kenneth.
There's only 2 answers, but it's only 2 times.
There are 3 total.
So
1 would be -1 plus I radical 3 divided by 4. Answer number 2 would be -1 minus I radical 3 divided by 4. And the third answer would be x equals to a half.
when you divide your the third answer is 0.
The third answer, not necessarily.
So you want to strike both instead of writing plus minus? You want to strike both instead of writing plus minus?
Do I want to write both? What do you mean by that?
Like you know, wrote plus minus before the back. Do you want us to write like both equations out?
You don't have to, because you can't simplify them anyway. If you can, then yes, you simplify further, but you can't simplify that. Okay, 4, here you go. You got 4x to the third minus 9x equals to 0. Step 1, you got to factor. What's step 1 in factoring? Take out G-step. Do we have any, by the way? Yeah, just take out an x. Take out an x, so you're left with 4x squared minus 9 equals to 0. Whoa, check out this guy. Is that a difference of 2 cubed or 2 squares?
2 squares.
2 squares. So we got to go further. So first is x. What are the factors of different of 2 squares? What would you write? Go ahead and write in your notes and then compare it with your friend around you. And then if you can go further and solve all the way, even better. Sorry. All right. Anthony, did you come up with the 2 factors for the different 2 squares, hon?
2x plus 3 is 2x.
Good job. Okay. Now we can take each factor and set them equal to 0. Since I invaded that space right here, I'm going to move down here. Take factor x, set equal to 0. Take factor 2x plus 3, set that equal to 0. Take factor 2x minus 3, set that equal to 0. Okay. Can I box up x equals to 0 right away? Is that an answer? That is an answer. It's a real answer. Okay. Then the other 2, you will solve, and minus 3 from both sides. So that means you're going to end up with 2x equals to negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. This answer will come out to be what, Iris? Good. Box that up or highlight that. Doesn't matter how you guys box your answers. And then Bridget, can you help us solve the last factor, please? Good. Okay, very good. Add 3. So that's going to be 2x equals 3. Divide both sides by 2. So final answer is, how many answers do we have for this one? 3. Are they imaginary, reals, or mixed? All real. All 3 answers are real answers. Okay. Last one of today. First, look at it. Is it equaling to 0? No, if it's not going to help us when we factor. So we want to make sure it equals to 0. So guess what we do so that we can make it equal to 0? Subtract 9x to both sides. Okay. So, and then once you subtract 9x, class, put it in order of powers. So what you want to do is write it in order from highest power to lowest power. Okay. How many terms is that? 4. So go ahead and factor 4 terms for me, and then I'm just going to shuffle your card to give me an answer of 4 terms. Okay. If it's factorable. Some of you are done. Way to go, Madison. If you are done, take out your project paper. We are going to work on a project. Your project is going to be due Friday, guys. We'll spend a little bit of time today to work on it, a little bit more time tomorrow. Audrey C., whenever you are ready, can you give me the factors? Just the factors. So once you're trying your paper, can you consult your team? Audrey S., get ready to check Audrey C's answer, okay? The factors. Can you guys verify your factor before you solve, okay? Because if your factors are wrong, you will have the wrong answers. Audrey, talk to your team. Team, help Audrey out. And the turnaround, help your team out. Is it factorable? Okay. I'm just looking for other factors, okay? We haven't. Ready, REC? Okay, what are your factors?
X2 minus 9.
X2, you mean x squared?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
X squared minus 9
And then x plus 2.
times x plus 2. Audrey S, can you confirm that for me? Okay. Class, before you go and check this or set it equals 0, check it. Anytime there's two terms and there's a minus, is that, can we factor more with that? Can we factor more? Can we go further with factoring on that binomial? Is it a difference? Is it a difference in cubes? Is it a difference in squares? Yes, so you got to go one more step before you take each factor and set it equals 0. Okay? So x plus 2 cannot be factored further, but x squared is a difference of 2 squares, so the fact of 3. X plus 3 times x minus 3. Now we can take each factor and we set it equals to 0. So x plus 3 equals to 0. X minus 3 equals to 0. X plus 2 equals to 0. So you have three real answers. The first one is x equals to negative 3. The next one is x equals to 3. The last one is x equals to negative 2. Now before we call it a day, I want you to look at all 5 questions and tell me. Guys, look at your notes. What is the highest degree of each equation? Every equation has a degree of 3. How many answers did we get for each question? 3. Yes. So the highest degree of each equation will tell you how many answers you will get. So you always have to pay attention. If the highest degree of your equation is 2, that means you're going to get a total answer of 2. So make sure you're mindful of this. Okay? All right, go ahead and work on your project. I will stop this recording. Everyone should be working on the purple paper.